The first time I was introduced to Marcus when my mother and I were. She took me on a bus. I wasn't sure where we were going to go. We were going to the Delaware Zoo or something, but we ended up getting off on Colvin and Amherst, and we ended up walking through the park all the way up to like the Rose Garden. I believe that Pegasus was playing. So there I am with my mom. The music's really intriguing, and then all of a sudden, like I see some guy running on stage, and it turns out to be Paul Spakowski, and he's wearing these punk rock glasses. And he's beating the shit out of Mark, and I'm like, what is going on, you know? And like Mark's got the long hair, and Paul's got like, you know, the punk rock haircut and the military garb you were wearing with the glass mullet, maybe the mullet. I don't think we want to say mullet. I don't think you had the mullet yet.
Oh, it's post mullet.
And so anyhow, I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And then they did the next song, and then there was a watermelon thing going on, and I didn't know Tom or anybody yet, but I remember Mark coming out, like, slicing up the watermelon or something, and there's a guy filming a 16mm camera. It was Tom Reynolds.
Yeah.
And almost got sliced by the knife that Mark was going down, and, like, it just came very close, and Tom then threw a piece of watermelon at him or something. So that's the first time.
Then we threw out grass clippings.
Yeah, and bags of weed.
Bags of weed. Fake bags of weed.
Fake bags of weed. So that's the first time I got. Yeah, I was living in Kenmore, and that's where I got introduced. You know, saw Mark. So that's good. That worked out.
When was the first time you actually hung out with him, though?
I think he came over to my house on Knowlton, and Patty was there, and that's when I first was introduced.
Oh, really?
It was like a year later, and I was like in 10th or grade now, I think, and I was out of KJ. Kenmore Junior was 9th, and then I went to Kenmore West, and that's where I saw Mark, and I go, wow, this guy's... I think he had toast on his shoes or something.
Yeah, he did. He did have a thing.
Toast, like, on his shoes. Not the goldfish in the heel, but I remember...
That was a story, because he had made those, bread shoes he made in high school.
Yeah, so anyhow, bread shoes. Next step was, like, I met all you guys, and we started just fooling around jamming. I think you bought a Moog before Mark even came down. We're going, and then you told Mark, and then Mark brought all these instruments over. One time we were jamming, and we're smoking weed, and he just brought a drum, he brought the flute, he brought the sick guitar, and an amp or something, and I think we were going through, like, your PA system or something down there.
And what else did we have? Did we have other things?
Just like toys, like
right.
A lot of toys and noise. The xylophone. I think our first song we wrote together with Mark was "It's Not Enough," maybe, like something that came structured. Everything was always jammed. It was always stoned, and then we did "It's Not Enough," and I have a tape of it. And at the end of the recording, it's like I can't go through the music, but at the end of the recording, Mark yells, "That is one of the greatest fucking songs ever done." It's plain and simple, and that's like the end of the tape. And lo and behold,
he proclaimed it a classic.
That was a classic, and George was formed later upstairs in your room.
Think about. Were there ever times when Mark would give you advice about things? Like,
yeah, he said always travel was important. He said, like, see as much as you can see. Travel. Mark told me at a younger age was go and see as much as possible and try to, grasp its knowledge, living in different environments. That was really important, and I take that as true.
He taught you how to tune your guitar.
Yeah, he taught me how to tune with the harmonics. We could never tune our guitars, and he just told me how to tune. He goes, turn the amp up to 10, put the distortion on, like, all the way, and then you hear the harmonics.
There was an aphorism when we first played in the George that we would, first of all, never always get high, always play high. Right?
Yeah, we were always getting stoned.
And never rehearse.
That went for Mark forever.
I think we got stoned all the time.
But that was the other one.
Even after he stopped drinking, it was like...
But the George, until we started to have structure with the songs. I think Roy Staley George,
right, but the Freeland version of the band was always about the performance. Yeah. It was not about...
And our first show with Freeland was at Hallwalls. We had maybe 2 structure songs, or I think there's was Scrock whatever.
Scrock McCoo.
Yeah.
They were based on an idea, not a set.
No set.
A loose structure.
Our first show, I was nervous as hell. I mean, I think we were all really nervous. So we're there early. Mark comes strolling in before we're supposed to go up. Or like 10 minutes later, and he's bringing this like weird wheelbarrow of like books and throws them onto the stage with a gallon of freaking wine, Gallo white wine. And he just, I don't know if it's a performance beginning, like here's books and rock and roll together, literature and rock and roll mix, or our performance came up. We started to play like in 5 or 10 minutes, and we had to clear it. He was playing clear. We used a rhythm machine too.
Right.
Yeah, here's the thing though. I mean, I think I'm sort of done in a way, but you know, I would not be like here without Mark, and that's really comes down to, you know, he's like, there's always going to be a piece of Mark in my heart, man. 'Cause like, man, I don't think anybody in Kenmore would have done what they've done without Mark's influences.